One bright morning, I was riding my bike along a quiet road when my little friend Mimi peeked out of my basket and pointed ahead. Look, she squeaked softly. The air smells sweet. I slowed down and smiled. The breeze carried the scent of fresh cherries, warm earth, and sunshine. As we moved forward, the road slowly changed, leading us into a peaceful village surrounded by endless cherry trees. The trees were tall and full, their branches heavy with bright red cherries that sparkled in the sunlight. Petals floated gently through the air like tiny pink snowflakes. "This place is beautiful," I whispered. We rolled into the village and saw people everywhere, men, women, and children working together happily. Some climbed small wooden ladders, carefully picking cherries. Others filled big woven baskets, laughing and chatting as they worked. Mimi hopped onto my shoulder. Everyone looked so busy, but happy. I nodded. "They're working together." A kind old woman smiled at us and offered a basket. "Would you like to help?" she asked. We gladly joined in. I picked shiny red cherries while Mimi carefully rolled a few into the basket. The sun warmed our faces, and the sound of laughter filled the air. Nearby, children carried baskets bigger than themselves, proud of their hard work. Some sang while others danced between the trees. The whole village felt alive, warm, and peaceful. As the baskets filled, the villagers gathered in the center of the fields. They stacked the baskets neatly and shared fresh cherries with everyone. The smell was sweet, and the joy was even sweeter. "This village grows more than cherries," Mimi said softly. "It grows happiness." As the sun began to set, the sky turned golden pink. The villagers waved as we got back on our bike. The cherry trees shimmered gently, as if saying goodbye. We rode away slowly, the soft sound of laughter fading behind us. I looked down and noticed a single cherry resting in my basket. I smiled. Some places stay with you forever, especially the ones filled with kindness, hard work, and sweet hearts. It's moments like these, isn't it? When you stumble upon a scene so pure, it feels like it's straight out of a storybook. This wasn't just a village of cherry trees. It was a community blooming with connection. Every person, from the youngest child to the wisest elder, had a role. There was no rush, no pressure, just a shared purpose that flowed as naturally as the breeze through the leaves. The ladders they used weren't shiny and new. They were made of wood, weathered by years of use, each rung telling a story of harvests past. The baskets weren't plastic. They were woven from reeds, crafted by hand with care and skill passed down through generations. It was a beautiful reminder that sometimes the old ways, the simple ways, hold the most profound beauty and efficiency. Mimi was absolutely captivated. She watched a young girl, no older than 7, who was teaching her even younger brother how to pick the cherries without bruising them. The girl's movements were so gentle, her instructions so patient. It was a classroom under the open sky, where the lessons were about more than just harvesting fruit. They were about respect for nature, for the work, and for each other. The soundscape of the village was a symphony of simple joys. There was a constant, gentle rustle of leaves, the soft thud of cherries dropping into baskets, and overlaying it all, the murmur of conversation and ripples of laughter. No one was on their phone. No one was distracted. They were completely present, their attention focused on the task at hand and the people around them. When we joined in, the feeling was incredible. The cherries were warm from the sun, their skin smooth and taut. Plucking them from the stem was so satisfying. With each one I picked, I felt like I was contributing to something bigger than myself. Mimi, in her own little way, was just as involved. She'd nudge a fallen cherry with her nose, guiding it towards the basket, her tiny squeaks adding to the happy chorus of the village. The old woman who invited us to help came by every so often, her eyes crinkling at the corners as she smiled. She didn't say much, but her presence was a warm hug. She pointed to a particularly laden branch, showing me how to support it so the weight of the fruit wouldn't cause it to break. It was a small gesture, but it spoke volumes about their philosophy: work with nature, don't just take from it. As midday approached, something wonderful happened. A few women set up long wooden tables under the shade of the largest cherry tree. They brought out fresh bread, cheese, and pitchers of cool water. It was a simple lunch, but sharing it with everyone, sitting on the grass with the scent of cherries all around, it felt like the most luxurious feast in the world. During the break, I learned that this harvest was an annual festival. Families who had moved away to the cities would return every year just for this. It was a homecoming, a tradition that kept the threads of their community tightly woven, no matter how far apart they lived. The cherries weren't just a crop, they were the heart of their heritage. After lunch, the work continued, but with a renewed, playful energy. The children, their bellies full, started a game of hide-and-seek among the trees, their giggles echoing through the orchard. A couple of the young men began a friendly competition to see who could fill their basket fastest, their friends cheering them on. The work and the joy were completely intertwined. Mimi whispered from my shoulder, "They're not just working, they're celebrating." And she was right. This wasn't a chore. It was a celebration of life, of family, and of the bounty the earth provided. The happiness was tangible. You could almost reach out and touch it. It was in the shared smiles, the helping hands, and the easy camaraderie that flowed between everyone. As the day drew to a close and the golden hour painted everything in honey-colored light, the final baskets were brought to the village center. The sheer volume of cherries was staggering a mountain of crimson jewels. But what was more impressive was the collective pride on everyone's faces. They had done this together. That moment, when the sun was setting and the work was done, was pure magic. The air cooled, and the scent of the cherries seemed to intensify. The villagers didn't just pack up and go home. They lingered, sharing stories from the day, enjoying the quiet satisfaction of their shared accomplishment. Our departure was as gentle as our arrival. The waves and smiles we received weren't for strangers, they were for new friends. We had been welcomed into their world for a day, and it changed us. As we rode away, the single cherry in my basket felt like a precious gem. It wasn't just a piece of fruit, it was a symbol of everything we had experienced. That little cherry represented the kindness of the old woman, the laughter of the children, the strength of the community, and the simple, profound joy of working with your hands and your heart. It's a reminder that happiness isn't something you find at the end of a long journey. It's something you can create and share right here, right now, with the people around you. That village, with its sweet cherries and even sweeter hearts, will forever be a part of my story. Thank you so much for joining me on this little journey today. If this story brought a smile to your face, consider liking the video and subscribing for more peaceful adventures. Until next time, may you find happiness in the simple things.